Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Coming back on to do a project share for Scrap Diva Designs, and then someone asked me to make a tutorial on how I did my flowers, so I will do that next. And this is the 3D envelope box. It's the A2 cards and envelopes, and here are all of the dies, and there's more. There's a bow in there that I really want to make. It's really cute, but this is how I made mine. My sewing machine kind of goofed up. Every time I use gold thread, it seems to do that. Maybe I have the stitching too tight. Maybe I need to make it a little bit wider of a stitch, but super cute. And then I took her die. It is the Snowflake Straw Topper. I don't know if I put it back. Let me see. There's a bunch of, there's a few snowflake dies in there. Then there's one that has the holes in it that you can put your straw in. And then there is some word dies in there. Merry and Bright. So this is so cute too. But there's like a bigger one, a little bit of a smaller one, and then there's the one with the holes for your straw. But I love this die set. So I did cut some of those out in glitter cardstock and stuck them on the front. But I made like a stencil. And then I put the stencil down, and then I have this stuff called Fluffy Stuff, and I got it off of Frank Garcia Studio. And I didn't know that you could just take your blow dryer to it, and then it became like really fluffy. So I found that out today on accident. I was trying to hurry up and get it dry, and I was like, oh my goodness, it like puffed up, and I love this. It's so pretty. And then I did add some glitter. I think it's called Rock Candy by Ranger. It's like a really, I love this stuff. It's like a really fine glitter. So I added it to it before I let it dry. While it was wet, I sprinkled it on. And then I did the same thing here. I just used that same stencil out of paper, and then just taped it down, and then put this stuff on, spread this on there like with a little craft knife, and then added some of that glitter stuff, and then hit it with a blow dryer, and it just got all nice and fluffy. I like the way it feels. But anyways, this is a nice size box. Let's see. It is like 6 by almost 5, and then you have this lid. I love this. Isn't this pretty? Very unique. So I made it so that my lid slides behind the embellishments on the front, because I really wanted to do a lot of chunky layering on this, and I'm like, I was gonna like cut this stuff so half of it went with the lid, and I'm like, I was just decided to make it so the lid just slid right behind it, but came out so pretty. And then I used her large poinsettia die. Then she has a poinsettia die, which is one of my favorites. And then I did use this piece here. It's from the Fireplace mini album, just like a string of lights. And then here is the, can't really see them, they're covered up, but the glitter snowflakes. So super pretty. So definitely want to play with this stuff some more and put it on more of my projects, making more stencils with her dies. It came out adorable. I just love the way it came out. But yeah, so that is that. And I do have a coupon code, which, before I forget to say it, which is Davina10, and you can save 10% off of your order. And I always leave the link down in the description box below for Scrap Diva Designs. So if you follow my link, it'll take you right there. And I do make a commission off of it. So if you do use my link and my coupon code, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So for the flower tutorial, I was going to do the new flower this month, which is the winter flower set. I love when her dies all come on one because they are tightly put on there. So they, you know, you don't have to worry about lining them all up and then having them move once you start to crank your, I mean, I do have an electric one too, but you know, it's just not gonna, your dies aren't gonna move around. But here are some of them that I had already made. So pretty. I started using them. And then I have one, I have a bowl Christmas tree of flowers. Here are some right here. And this is one of her word dies. She has swap partner words. That's what it is, not scrap. Swap partner words. And I love these. So I highly suggest these because it has, you know, it says embellishments and all kinds of stuff. So when you're sending Happy Mail, but here are those large poinsettias. And then here is just the poinsettia die. So pretty. And then I do have the words for this month in here. I think I've shared them already. So pretty. So, so pretty. So I'm leaving these out because I'm hoping to play with some of this stuff with next month's dies, which we will be getting really soon. Super excited. So don't judge my mat because I usually spray my flowers. I'm so unorganized tonight, but I don't always spray my flowers, but I'll usually hit them with a couple of sprays of this stuff called Glimmer Mist by Tattered Angels. I have two of these. They're both called something different. This is Dazzling Diamonds and the other one's on the other side, but I've had these for years. It's lasted me a long time because you only need a tiny little spritz. So that's how much I have left. Definitely gotta find some more. So I have some dies cut out. I also cut out a few, I love this little die set here. It came with, I think it was last year's, the hot cocoa pouch. And I loved these little, they almost look like a poinsettia die, but small. So I cut a few of these out too, because I do like this one as well. I have certain dies that, and I have it written down so I know which die it came from. So here is the winter flower. Then here is that other poinsettia die. I love that her dies come with like embellishments that you can use on other projects. Okay. So, okay, some of my hair. I used to roll my flowers, and then I'll show you what I've been doing now. Was watching MJ Carroll, which is Melissa, and I will show you how she does hers. And that's how I've been doing mine because it's so easy and they come out so pretty. But this is how I used to do them. I used to take one of like these things. I do like the way that this comes out as well. I guess it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. So you can make your flowers this way. Sometimes if you hit them with just a little tiny spritz of water, that helps too. And I use all different kinds of flower centers. I don't know if I have them all in one spot. I have a cart that sits next to my desk that has like all of my little tools, like this kind of stuff in these containers, and then plastic containers of stuff I use. Just like a little bit. And it just depends on how many layers that you want to do. Okay, so I usually do about 3 layers. Sometimes I do more. Like I said, just depends. And then other times I'll just kind of press them in just a little bit more. Then you can, you know, plump them back up with your fingers. And I see these kind of moved, but I'll just leave them there. But I think I'm actually going to put another leaf underneath there. Okay. Just push that in a little. Definitely need to fill this with more glue. I prefer using the little bottle. Sometimes I will use my bigger bottle, but I mostly use just that little bottle. Okay, so there is one way to make a flower. And then Melissa, she was taking like one of these here, and she was just going around and bending them, and I really like the way this looks. And then I just kind of bend them up. I normally use the same size, but we'll do something a little different. I'll use like this. I'll use 3 of these, 3 of this size, 3 of this size. But let's try the different 4 layers in one. Let's see. I think this is the next one. Very easy. And then this one, I think, is the littlest one. Then as you put them together, I just offset mine. So the leaves aren't all sitting on top of each other. So here is the biggest one. Okay. I got hot glue on this. I was just using my hot glue gun. I like these tweezers to set everything down with, even if I'm using my hot glue gun. I'll get the next layer. We'll just put some on here. You don't need much glue. I'm using art glitter glue. I do use a bunch of different glues. I like the art glitter glue because it dries really quick, and that's what I prefer when I'm making like 3D projects. I like to put like the base of stuff together. And I do use Barely Arts glue as well. I usually use that for like my layering, like layering my pieces. Okay, so that's one way. Those are different sizes. And then let's see, do I have, yes, I do have 3 of these. So I will just bend these. Another one. Sometimes people just glue them all together, then bend them up. I like to bend them like how Melissa showed it before. See how I'm offsetting that there? Okay, this is how I normally would make my flowers, with just the 3 leaves there. And then this is how it looks with more. You can even put another one underneath that, so you have a bigger leaf underneath that way. So like I said, it just depends on, you know, how you want to make them and how many layers you want to put on them. I think I did show you, yeah, the poinsettia. Like these are the leaves flipped up. These are them curled down. So kind of, oops, oh, I just tripped over my chair. That's like a go to work and craft type thing. Like here are these flower centers. Sometimes I'll use these. These here, oops, it's the wrong, well, maybe it is the right side. And then there's some with a little pearl on there, so pretty. And then here are some more flower centers that I use. If I do use something like this, I'll just put a jemmy in the middle of it with glue. yeah, I do have more jemmies and little baskets on the other side, but that is how I make my flowers. And you can save 10% off of your order. And the link to Scrap Diva Designs will be in the description box below. And I hope my little flower tutorial helped you. And thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good night. Bye.